Welcome back, fight fans, to another edition of Double Jab with Q Boxing Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Rich Quinones. We are powered by Boxlab Promotions. Don't forget to follow them on all social media platforms. We had them on the last time out, AKA 47, Angel AK 47 Barrientes, kind enough to join us. Had a big win, knocked off the rust. First round stoppage, body shot against Ernesto Francione. And now you got set for another fight coming up, which we will get into in a moment. But first and foremost, congratulations on the win. You knocked the rust off. Got to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It was a great fight. I fought last month, and I'm back in the ring again, and I'm just excited to stay busy. I got a great team, so I'm excited for my next fight.
Yeah, opportunity. You're working with your father and Bob Santos, legendary trainer. We'll see you in Tampa. We'll get to that card in a moment. Again, Boxlab Promotions doing a fantastic job. You're part of that crew and that team. They're putting on some really stacked cards and fights. Now you got an opportunity to step up in competition. But going back to the fight against Ernesto Francione, that first round stoppage body shot's always unique when you get a fighter out like that. And I know we talked a little bit prior to leading up, you weren't sure who the opponent was going to be. But the bottom line is you got to make adjustments. You got a round in, you got the stoppage. Would you have liked to have gotten a couple more rounds in to kind of keep getting your feet wet coming off, an opportunity where you had to lay off?
Yeah, no, of course. He was supposed to give me a couple rounds going in there. No matter who you fight, I didn't know who he was, and I just had to adjust to it. But I think I landed a clean body shot, and it was too clean for him to get up. And but I'm glad I got back in there.
Yeah, the body shots always seem to snatch the soul out of a fighter, right? I mean, and quite frankly, if it's a 6, 8, or 10 rounder and you're working the body, the head's eventually going to fall, right? You build equity in the bank, as we like to say. Another edition of Double Jab with Q. Yep. AK-47, Angel Barrientes, kind enough to join us. 11-1 now. Your brother won a week later, so respectively 11-1, 9-0. You got a big fight coming up against Edwin Rodriguez. We'll give you the details of that in a moment. That's also in conjunction with Boxlab Promotions. It's in Tampa. We'll give you the scene and the setting for that. But little step up in competition. 31-year-old, kind of a journeyman, grizzled fighter from Puerto Rico. Nice record, solid record, respectful record, 12-8-2. He's fought a couple of opponents you should be familiar with as well: Dylan Price, Christian Cardo, and Floyd Diaz.
Yeah, no. I know this guy's coming to fight. He's gonna be tough, and he's gonna try to stay in there with me. But I'm ready. I've been training real hard, just coming off a fight, and I've been training as hard as I can. So I'm ready to get back in there. I know a couple guys that fought him, real close with Floyd, and no, I'm excited. I know he's gonna be tough, so I'm excited to go in there and do my best.
When you have a stablemate or a friend that's you have a similar opposition, you mentioned that Diaz fought him, and Rodriguez has never been stopped in 22 pro fights. So I'm sure you might be looking to get that stoppage as well. I'm sure you made a note of that in the back of your mind. But do you kind of divert to your team, or maybe you just have a conversation with Floyd and say, hey, give me kind of the breakdown, or do you watch, say the fight when he fought Floyd to maybe pick up on a couple things, or you just leave all that to your team?
Usually I just leave it up to my team. I know how hard I train, and I know what I'm capable of. I usually watch a couple rounds, and that's all I need to see for me to do what I need to do. And he's a tough fighter, so I'm excited. He's gonna come forward, he's gonna take some shots, and hopefully we could be the first ones to stop him.
And again, that fight will be July 20th, undercard of Jake Paul, Mike Perry. That fight will take place in Tampa, Florida, Amelia Arena. And that's going to air, more importantly, on the Zone PPV. As I mentioned, Rodriguez 12-8-2. You won your last fight, as we just alluded to, May 31st at the Caribe Royale. You defeated Ernesto Francione. And also, your brother got the win a week later. So again, 11-1, 9-0 respectively. I know you guys have a little fun with that. But how about the opportunity? And I looked at that undercard, and I looked at that card per se, and I know it can change, but I think Serrano is going to be on that card. We saw what Jake Paul has been able to do. YouTube turned into a serious fighter, trains hard, big time advocate for female fighting, female boxing, women's boxing. But for you, another opportunity, right? A showcase fight for you with a lot of eyeballs watching you. So you relish that opportunity, put a little more pressure on yourself, or you're just okay, look, it's just another day at the office. As soon as I step in the ring, I got an opponent in front of me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited, man. It's a great opportunity. I'm grateful to be on a big card like this in front of a lot of people. I got a great team at Boxlab and my manager Bob and my dad as my coach. So I'm excited. Just another day. I train hard every day. So fighting's everything. Fighting's what I've been doing since I was a baby. So it's just another day, and I'm excited to go in there on a big card.
Do you also sense with the more opportunities, the more wins, and you start to stockpile wins and your name gets out there a little more? And obviously, under the Boxlab Promotions, they're doing a hell of a job cultivating talent and rising fighters and perhaps, regional champs, world champs, and more opportunities for you guys. Do you start to sense, okay, 12, 13, 14, 15, here we go. Give me a regional belt. Give me an opportunity. Because you start to look at the rankings and you're starting to make a little headway and you're starting to creep in where all of a sudden now the conversation changes a little bit. The narrative,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
perception of you changes a little bit. Is that kind of something that you're looking down the road, or again, it's just the old cliche, one fight at a time?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm ready, man. Like I said, fighting the all I know. It's everything I do every day. So, of course, my team makes a decision, but me, I'm ready. So let's go.
Hmm.
We'll take it one fight at a time, though, right? We got July 20th first. Let's get that one, and then the future's bright. I'm excited. As long as my team's okay with me moving to the next step, hopefully we can make some noise soon.
Angel AK-47 Barrientes, kind enough to join us. This edition of Double Jab Boxing Pod with Q. Rich Quinones here. We are powered by Boxlab Promotions. Give them a follow on IG and X, Facebook at Boxlab Promotions. You mentioned that fight is right around the corner. I know I asked you this the first time you jumped on Double Jab. I know you're a student of the game. When you see, and I don't know if you subscribe or buy into this with other fighters, and I, in essence, call it the pissing contest on social media, where guys keep going back and forth and calling out each other, and you wonder, there's 24 hours in a day, man. So if you're on social 23, how much time are you really devoting to your craft in the sport? I know you and your brother don't strike me like that. Um, I can just tell, and I think that's a good thing. But sometimes you kind of sit back and you're like, man, I just sometimes you almost want to see some of these guys just kind of focus on the task at hand. And I know people say the trash talking, the sport needs it. All of a sudden you got
Yeah,
fighters
yeah,
out there that are being courted. Take like a Shakur Stevenson right now, free agent being courted. Is it Matchroom? Is it Top Rank? Is it going to be, Golden Boy? He's going back and forth. We got some money fights coming up. Do you kind of sit back and just kind of chuckle at that, or say to yourself, yeah, that's just not for me and it's never going to be for me?
yeah. No, I see all of it. Of course, it's a big. Right now, social media is a big thing of our generation. So, I don't know. I feel like I just sit back, I train hard, and I fight. I'm not gonna go out there on Instagram and talk crap because you could do that in person at the weigh-ins. So I'm not gonna sit on Twitter and talk back and forth. I think real men's supposed to fight. I don't think we should talk over the internet. Let's fight in the ring.
Yeah, what I would like to ask you, what do you make of what kind of transpired now with, I think, a really talented but maybe troubled kid in a Ryan Garcia, right? I feel as though if you have the right people around you and they're really supportive, young fighters, this is just my opinion. If you're really moving up the ranks, you don't need people that are basically going to placate and kiss your ass. You need
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that are going to set you down and say, Angel, man, it's not like this, right? In your case, you've got your brother, you've got your father, you got Bob Santos. So you already know they're going to keep you in check, right? Which is a
yeah,
good
yeah,
thing. But when you look at, say, a fighter like Ryan Garcia, who's obviously talented, I think he's a pretty smart kid. I think he kind of knows what he's doing to some extent. But then at times, what comes out of his mouth, what's tweeted. I feel as though, you know, could still have a very good, long lasting, prosperous career aside from getting pinched in the suspension and all this. And what kind of advice would you give a young kid like that? Because he's only a couple years older than you.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. We grew up doing tournaments with Ryan and his brother Sean, because they're from California, so we're from Vegas. We always did the same SoCal tournaments, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't think anybody can tell him anything because he's making that money, and I think only you would know, or me, anybody would know if you had $50 million in the bank how to feel. So I guess like that's just
That's a fair
something that
point.
he has to decide. I don't think anybody can tell him anything because he's very successful. So it's hard to tell somebody when they're on that high.
Yeah, but you know what? You can be there and then
You
in a New
can't.
York.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's hard to tell somebody that's like on their way up what to do, because they look down on a lot of people. But I'm not saying he does, but
sure.
I guess that's only something that he would know.
Yeah. Listen, as they say, it does change in a New York second at times. All right. So what do we expect coming up in July, right around the corner for your next fight? And again, that'll be against Edwin Rodriguez. Is it 6 or 8 rounds?
I think it's gonna be 6.
Okay. All right. So again, you know this, right? Got to come out, maybe that first round feeling out process, but 6 rounders, there's not, to me, it's the same as a 4 rounder, right? Not a lot of margin of error there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's gonna be a good fight though. I mean, I know he's coming to fight. I'm coming to fight. 6 rounds. I know it's gonna be high pace, so just I'm excited. You guys tune in, and it's gonna be a great fight.
We getting the stoppage in this one? First time into his career. Is he going to get stopped?
Yeah, no, of course, I'm going for it. So, but we'll tune in and see. If not, it's all good. But I'm looking for it.
All right. And as always, appreciate a couple moments, but for the listening and viewing audience, you can push social media. You can push all the details for that fight in July. So have at it.
Oh yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Angel Barrientes and Twitter, same thing. Tune into my fight July 20th. It's gonna be on Jake Paul versus Perry. So tune in on the zone.
Yep, that'll be, as Angel mentioned, on the zone, and of course, Boxlab doing a great job cultivating young talent. You and your brother part of the team as well. Good opportunity for you to kind of showcase in front of everyone what you're made of, a move to 12-1, and certainly we wish you the best of luck. Always appreciate you jumping on a couple moments on this edition of Double Jab, and best of luck, Angel. We'll talk along the way, pal.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.